Hello everybody and welcome back to FPL Fanatics. This is team selection for Game Week 4. I'm Alex.
And I'm Joel.
And we're going to be going through how we've done in the previous week, how our team's setting up for next week, and all the transfers and captaincy plans that we have currently. How has your week been, Joel? Enjoy the football?
The less said about it, the better, I think. It wasn't a disaster, but it wasn't the best either. Let's put it that way. I'm still hopeful going forward, but I know that you had quite a week, didn't you?
I had quite the week in football from a Man United perspective and also in fantasy. So that's why I want to ask you, just to see what you'd say and see what mood you're going to be in for the rest of this video.
It's reversed from last week, isn't it? It's gone
so reversed. Maybe my transfer might be to me and Marcus Rashford. Who knows? Maybe it's Anthony Martial. Who knows?
Bit soon.
Maybe it's Malacia at 4.5. Ooh.
Is he 4.5?
Yeah, he looks good though, right?
He came out of nowhere. Yeah, he did look good. He did look good.
And if he keeps Luke Shaw out of that team, I think he could be quite good.
You go for him then. Go on. You've locked it in now. Transfer.
Oh, I've said it. I've put myself in it there.
Yeah.
No, I'm just obviously overexcited because it's a rare occurrence at this moment in time. And next week we'll probably lose. So I'm enjoying it while it lasts.
Fair.
And obviously it helps that you're a Liverpool fan, so I can talk to you about it.
Great.
But we'll move swiftly on. Should we have a look at how we've performed this week then?
Yeah, let's have a look. Let's get it over with.
Right. I feel like Joel's might be a bit quicker this time. Right then, shall we have a look at how our team performed this week?
Yeah, by the looks of it, you did all right this week, didn't you? A lot better than last week, anyway.
So I will consider this week a giant success.
That's nice.
I took a -4 in the end. I brought in Rodrigo and Martinelli for Saka and Bailey. And in the end, I've worked it out. I'm 7 points better off by doing this, even with the -4 hit. I'm still 7 points better off.
Well, that's all right. Isn't it?
So
it's Rodrigo
that in
who came
itself,
through for you.
Absolutely. So that in itself is a success. But just quickly going through my team, Ramsdale 6 points, dominating performance from Arsenal. Bournemouth didn't even really trouble them. Not much to really say on him. He didn't really get tested, so 6 points was kind of always going to be his limit. We'll move on to Trent. So, I'm going to say as many times as possible this video. 2-1 to United. I did not see that coming at all. I don't think any United fan saw that coming, if I'm honest.
No, well, I didn't either. And I'm a Liverpool fan. It was quite unexpected, but fair play.
We played very well, and I don't know if it was just that Liverpool didn't play very well, so it made us look better. But I thought defensively we looked really good. Having said that, on the other hand, you looked a little bit shaky and a little bit rocky. One pass and we was through numerous times, and Trent, unluckily, he got yellow carded for it, and he got found out a couple of times, and that's why I ended up finishing on 0 points. And it's the same with Robertson as well, with just 1 point better off. I don't know who was at fault, but I know James Milner had an absolute right go at Van Dijk.
Van Dijk did not play well. He had a shocker. He's not been performing well these first 3 games, really. I mean, the whole team was a bit of a shambles. And to be fair to you, you did play very well. I mean, we could talk about this game for ages, but yeah, that's the bottom line. It's a bit of both, innit? We played rubbish. You played well, so
it looks more probably of a hammering than it probably should have been, really. But this theme will probably come up throughout, because as many times like I mentioned United doing that, I'm going to do it.
God damn
it. It might not happen many times. We'll move on to a more positive note in terms of Lewis Dunk and Brighton. I mean, Brighton look fantastic. The game itself against West Ham, I mean, it was only 2-0 to Brighton, and I think they had a similar amount of shots, possession, everything was very, very 50-50. But Brighton just seemed to be a rock solid at the back. And starting Lewis Dunk over Trippier was a good decision, considering the result at Newcastle and City. But I was never considering starting Trippier really, so I can't even convince myself that I had 6 points on the bench that I was always going to have. But either way, I'd have started one. I got 6 points, so either way, I'd have been no better off. And then moving on to that game, the 3-3, Cancelo also got booked, and he didn't play particularly well. I didn't notice that he didn't get as forward as he usually does. Now I don't know if that's the threat of like St. Maximin or what it is, but he didn't get it wasn't as threatening. I believe maybe towards a lot of 10 minutes when like pretty much City just put everyone forward. He was a bit further forward, but he wasn't as far forward as he has been in the past. Having said that, any given day he can return. So I'm not. I wasn't too fussed about him, and plus it was a thrilling game at the end of the day. So I'm all about the football. Sometimes it's about fantasy, but sometimes it's just a great game. And you just kind of have to forget about it a little bit.
Absolutely.
Moving on to the midfield, Captain Mo Salah. I won't lie, he didn't really do anything but got a tap in, right place, right time. Mr. Reliable as always. I'm glad I captained him. 16 points. Not much more to say really. I think he's probably still adjusting to having. I know Nunes is not there now, but having Diaz and Firmino back, it's a different role without Mane there. I think he had an interview and he said that himself. He's still kind of learning his new role in this team. So I think he'll still bag. I think he'll still absolutely bag. He just might take a few more games maybe to get used to it and get back to his usual self. But same with Liverpool. I think it's not just him. I think it's a Liverpool thing. It seems to be. But he's, I'm fairly happy with him. He like one shot, and I think that's all he had, and he got a goal. So what more can you ask for, really? Neto next up, 2 points. I mean, it's disappointing because of the hype behind him, but at the same time, he's only cheap, so I can't really complain too much. Wolves don't look like scoring a lot, which I knew anyway. Him and Bailey were the best price points, I believe, at the time. The 5 and 5.5. They're both not really worked out. If I get a bit of money, I'll be looking to try and move him on at some point. But at the minute, I'm not too bothered because you're gonna have to have a cheap kind of midfielder with the way I'm playing at the minute. So I'm not too bothered about him. Then moving on to Martinelli. I mean, he shot to get the assist, I believe, for Odegaard. So he could have easily just gone in, and he looked hungry as well. And he just looks good. He just looks a very good player. I mean, Saka, who I got replaced him with, still looks good, but Martinelli just seems to have that edge. And I think for 1.8 mil cheaper, what it is now, he's just a much better option. So I'm kind of glad I made that move. And I'm glad it did come back to bite me straight away, because I thought Saka was going to get a goal, and it didn't, luckily. It might change again, obviously, this week, but I'm still fairly happy with that return from Martinelli. And then moving on to the main man, the star man, 3-0 from Leeds against Chelsea, and Rodrigo a goal and assist again. He is on fire. He's already risen again, I think. He's like 6.4 now. Yeah. I think everyone's jumping on the bandwagon, and I happily got on him last week, luckily. It was between him and Harrison, as we had the conversation here last week. Harrison just got an extra point, so either one I'd have been happy with. I mean, what more can you say about that performance? If they're going to be like that in every game, then we're going to end up with 3 Leeds players in our team, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking into them already, so we might talk about them later.
Well, we'll leave that then for then. And then up front, we've got Haaland, still managed to grab a goal, even though he didn't play particularly well, I don't think. But that's just the threat that he has. He hit the post as well, so he could have easily had another goal and then got into the bonus and all that jazz. But that's what you pay for. You might not have the best game, but you can still pop up with a goal, and I'm happy with that. And then Jesus, he was just unlucky, to be honest. I think he could have easily had more, and then my rank would have taken a massive hit if he'd have got that goal that was offside. And he set up that first goal, which was just unbelievable. Well, he did set it up, but because it got shot, I think, or it got disallowed. It went to the rebound to Odegaard. He didn't get anything from it, and then he got another assist. But he just looked ridiculous again for 3 games in a row. So I'm expecting it to drop at some point, but it also doesn't look like it will. So if you haven't got him by now, you've got to get him. And on the bench, just quickly, Ward 1 point, Leicester just disappointing. Trippier with that amazing free kick. We're never going to start him, but he got me the same as Dunk, so either way I'd have been happy. Glad I've kept him, because I just think it just turns out they can score against any team now, and they can hold their own. And then Pereira with 8 points as well. He had a really good game on all set pieces and setting, multiple chances up. Overall, 60 points, really good week. -4 though, obviously, so it was 56 overall. Seems to be above average by quite a lot. Transfers successful. I'm happy.
Yeah, can't complain with that. Fair play to you. So my week, we'll just skim through it because I don't want to talk about this too much. I scored 45 points, which is quite disappointing. I thought I was doing well after the first round of fixtures. I thought I was onto a winner. Martinelli returned, Jesus returned, Ramsdale returned, Kane returned. I was happy, and then after that, it just all went downhill. Looking at the defence here, everyone blanked really, except for Ramsdale. Do you think big at the back's dead now? That's the talking point coming out of this week, isn't it? A lot of people went big at the back right at the start, and now I think they're looking to shift into the attack more because there's a lot of options appearing with the Leeds players, even Brighton. Man United might be back on the map, who knows? Do you think big at the back's gone?
I'm looking at this as a bit of an opportunity because I think people are getting rid of the likes of Robertson and Trent. And they've got a really good fixture coming up this week, and I think it's almost a bit too soon to get rid of them. I think if you want to make money elsewhere, though, like Perisic, who he's starting at 5.5, he's a nice kind of mid price point who could return as big as say the likes of Cancelo and stuff. So I think it depends on what you want to do. If you can you not live without having a third striker like Ivan Toney in? Or can you not live for yourself by not having Robertson in or Cancelo? It depends how you want to handle it, because I think it'll even itself out at some point. Even if Liverpool's off to a shaky start, it just depends what you can live with. And at the minute, I'm happy with. I'm not happy, but I'm happy at least for the next game, for that Bournemouth game, because they don't look like they can really score, and they're conceding a lot. So I think that's a good fixture for them to bounce back on that, if that makes sense. And if they don't, then it's a different situation then afterwards and what to do, and it makes it a fairly easy transfer for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the established premiums at the back, like Trent and Cancelo and Reece James, I think they're all still going to be good options, and if you keep faith in them, they will come good eventually, won't they? Because that's just what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think double Chelsea defence I've got's a bit shaky. Yeah. Not too happy about that now. I told you I should have went with Eric Dyer. That was what I was thinking. I should have stuck with it because Cucurella, I'm already regretting bringing him in. I mean, I should have burnt a transfer really because I had Kieran Trippier and he scored. Yeah,
but you didn't see that coming.
It is what it is.
It's just a great
I wouldn't have played him anyway against City. So
yeah, exactly.
It is what it is. Yeah, disappointing week, but we move on, onwards and upwards.
Right, then let's have a look at my team selection for game week 4. At the back, Ramsdale, got Fulham at home. I'm fairly happy keeping him for now. They've got some great fixtures coming up. I also have a sneaky feeling that Fulham could score here because they are actually scoring quite a few goals, and I didn't think they would be. But also Arsenal look absolutely fantastic, and they look really solid at the back. So actually, I think it might be quite a good game to watch, from a neutral standpoint. But I'm fairly happy with him because I think if he does lose a clean sheet, a lot of people's got a defender in as well. So it's not too bothered if he does concede or not, if that makes sense.
We're all in the same boat. Yeah, we all go down together.
We're all in the same boat. We all go down together, exactly. Then I've got Trent, Bournemouth at home. I know people's jumping off Trent at the minute. I think he's going to go down in price tonight, which is mad because he's going to be even cheaper. Then that just makes him more appealing to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the one thing that I thought is what's decided it for me to keep Trent is the fact that they're against Bournemouth next, and their XG for the last 3 games has been 1, and I think that which is the worst in the league. So I don't think they'll be they might not cause Liverpool that much trouble. So I think if they didn't keep a clean sheet against this, then that's when you can start to readjust things. But I'm happy to give them both Trent and Robertson, because Robertson's in the starting lineup as well. I'm happy to give both of them this one last week as a pair. And if I decide to get if they concede again, 4 games in a row is for 7 million, 7.5. It's not really ideal, is it? So I'd probably be looking then to move Robertson on. It will be. I don't think it'd be Trent. I really don't. So that's them two locked in, and that's the main reason why I'm keeping them for one more week. United was always going to be a bit of a guessing game, to be honest. I didn't know if we were going to be great. I didn't know if we were going to be rubbish. It could have gone either way, but we could have always easily got a goal either as well. I think the talent that we kind of have in terms of that attacking unit. Moving on, then we've got Dunk against Leeds. 2 teams in great form, so I'm not entirely sure which way this is going to go. Brighton are better away than at home as well in terms of the defensive record, but I'm quite happy because I think if Rodrigo, for example, doesn't perform or they don't get a goal, then Dunk will get clean sheet. But also Dunk's got goal threat as well for 4.5 mil. So I'm happy to start him. It's not ideal having someone against an attacker versus defender, but it's going to happen. So you kind of have to kind of deal with it. So I'm happy to play him. Cancelo against Palace. I have a feeling Palace could score here. I think they did last year. They've scored against the likes of Liverpool and stuff as well. And I think the way City play out with how high they're up in the defensive line, they could send through Zaha again. So I am a little worried that they won't keep a clean sheet. But I'm not going to not play Cancelo. It's just he's going to pretty much be in lineup every week. And then we move on to Trippier. Trippier, Wolves away. Wolves can't really score, and Newcastle look great, and Trippier looks great. I think that's a really good fixture for him. So I've gone 5 at the back this week, and I'm quite happy with it. I think him and Rodrigo are the only ones away as well, away from home. But Newcastle, I think, are good enough to keep Wolves out, because I don't think Wolves are very good going forward. So I'm quite happy playing him. Then we've got Salah. Again, he can score past anyone. We've got Bournemouth. They've conceded 7 goals. I think it's something like that. So there's plenty of goals to be had. Whether it's him or the spread around, I don't know. But obviously Nunes is still out. If Firmino, if he's fit, he'll probably start again. But if he's not, they might play Salah up top, and they might give Carvalho a chance. Maybe, I don't know, because I don't know how you tell me, but Salah's definitely playing, and I think he could definitely bag. He could easily get a hat trick or something against Bournemouth, and I think he's a no-brainer really. Then we've got Martinelli against Fulham. Same reason I've said about Ramsdale. I think this could be a really good game. I think it could be quite back and forth as well. Fulham, like I said, look really on it and really attacking. Not sure if they've been tested enough yet in terms of defensive numbers, because they do look good going forward, but so do Arsenal, and Arsenal also have a decent defensive record as well. So I think there's goals to be had there, and I think that'll be a good game, and I'm happy with Martinelli. The only thing is, I am a little bit scared now. I know Smith Rowe is actually back fully fit. Does he get rotated at some point? I'm hoping it's not this game week. I'm hoping it's going to be when Champions League maybe kicks off. And at that point, it might be a case to kind of look at him again and maybe reassess if there's another option, or maybe you just stick with one. Or that might be the case where when I've sold Saka at that point, I might regret it, because Saka's probably going to start every game, whereas Smith Rowe and Martinelli are fighting over that. And with Champions League, he might get a start every now and then. So, but I think everyone's going to be in the same boat, so I'm not worrying about that now. Then we've got Rodrigo. He's like I said, him and Trippier are the only ones who are away from home. They've got Brighton, and Brighton, are very good defensively. So I'm not really sure how this is going to go. But Leeds and Rodrigo in particular is on fire. So I think he could have the confidence to just like banging a 25-yarder or something, it'd be out of the blue. So it's not something you can kind of think. I've no idea how that's going to go, but I'm not going to not play him. I don't think after his recent performances, not just last one, with his 13-point haul. And I think Leeds do look good as well, but so do Brighton. So it's going to be a great kind of game to watch again from a neutral perspective, I think, to see how it kind of goes. And then up top, we've got Haaland. There's a lot of talks that Pep's come out this week and said when we've got a game every 3 days, he's not going to play, and Alvarez is going to play. Now, obviously, when this game comes around, it'll have been a week, but then there's a midweek fixture, so I've got a horrible feeling he might be dropped in that game. So for now, I'm keeping him. But if they're going to be playing every 3 days, like they are expected to do pretty much till the end of the season with the Champions League and then all the fixtures they've got to fit in around the World Cup, he might have just, the way Pep said it, he might end up coming out of my team for that reason, which I'm not happy about. But I don't want to pay that much money for someone who's going to be missing, which is literally said guaranteed to miss if they're going to be playing every 3 days.
Yeah. And
more likely they'll keep in all the competitions till pretty late. So the more likely he's going to be playing every 3 days. I know he's not going to the World Cup, which will help his fitness, if they can keep him fit, obviously. But he's one to think about. I mean, for the Palace game, though, I'm fairly happy because City are just great, going forward. I think they've scored the most goals. They're tied with Arsenal at 9, I think. Right. And they've had the highest XG as well, so they've overachieved it, but they're probably always going to do that. So I'm fairly happy with Haaland, even though he might only have 2 touches a game, but it doesn't mean he's not going to be able to score with them totally. 2 touches. So
yeah, I'll make it count.
So I'm happy with him. And then we've got Jesus up top as well. Same reason as Martinelli, Ramsdale. He's on fire. Happy to keep him. Happy to see what more he can do, because I think he's just re-enlightened his career at Arsenal. You can tell there's a City player who's coming to an Arsenal team, which is fantastic. Same as Zinchenko. So he's not going anywhere for the time being. And then on my bench, we've got Ward. Yeah. Leicester just don't look great, so he's going to be on the bench forever. Yeah, there's not much to say.
Absolutely.
I've benched Neto at the minute as my first sub. Newcastle at home. I don't think it's a great fixture going forward or defensively, really, for Wolves. So I'm just going to leave him there. I know he's took a price deduction, so I'm going to have to deal with him at some point. But for now, he can have a place on the bench. Then Pereira at Arsenal. I'm expecting Arsenal to, as obviously I'm triple invested in Arsenal, so I'm expecting them to do quite well. There's a case that I might put him first at some point if I feel like Neto might get dropped or something, and he's a great bench option, isn't he? I think after his last week's performance at 8 points. And then Archer at the last one, but there's rumours that he might be going on loan, so he might wildcard might end up leaving, but he's not. Obviously, he's third on my bench for now, and he's going to stay there, and he's going to be happy about it. And that's my team selection for game week 4. I think fairly happy with that.
Yeah, I think it's looking good.
Right then, transfer plans. Well, if you compare this to last week when I had all the plans, every single plan in the world, and I have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
This week, I feel like I'm the complete opposite, which is very weird to go from one to the other. To cut a long story short, I'm thinking I'm going to roll the transfer. Main reason being is I do want to get rid of Neto. I think he's going to be a problem. But the money that I've got in the bank, it's not enough to upgrade him to who I want to upgrade to. So I'm willing to give Robertson one more week. If he does well, it's going to put me in a bit of a tricky situation, but then I'll have 2 transfers next week, so I can always downgrade someone else potentially if I wanted to. Maybe it might be a case of Haaland. If Haaland's not going to play that midweek game, it's a little worrying. And Pep's literally come out and said he's not going to play. So I'm sceptical because I'm like, well, maybe he might do, but then when Champions League does kick off, then he might actually rest him. When that's on, but I'm not sure. But I'm also not sure if I did do that, would I go straight to Kane, or would I go further down and go to the likes of Tony and then upgrade somewhere else? There's multiple options, but Robertson, I think I'm willing to get, based on the stat that I said about Bournemouth having an XG of 1 over 3 games. I feel like they're not going to trouble Liverpool. I mean, obviously I could be wrong, but I'm willing to take that bet to leave them in, to have 2 transfers next week. And then what my plans are at the minute, I mean, this depends on if Robertson does well or not, to be completely honest with you. But if he does okay or fairly poorly, then he's going to go. And he's going to probably go down to possibly Perisic, depending on if he starts again. If he starts again, potentially. But with Champions League coming up, I'm not entirely sure if I want to put myself into that situation, to be honest. The other option would be to downgrade him to like a 5 mil defender. I'm not sure who yet, but the reason why it's the 5 mil is so then I've got enough money to upgrade Neto to either Zaha, because you know I'm high on Zaha, and he scored 2 again at the weekend. So
he's looking great.
You know, I'm really wanting him in my team, and I think he could score against City again. Like I said, with how similar they play to Liverpool. And also Gundogan, because if Gundogan is going to start at that price, and if he's going to be a little bit more like the old Gundogan from 2 years ago, he's very tempting, and I think people could jump on him quickly if he does continue to play.
Yeah.
So I think doing that, they're like the 2 options that I'm thinking of at this moment in time. Obviously, there'll be another week to go where I could change my mind, but I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, fair.
There's nothing what screams out to me apart from Neto, but I benched him anyway.
Yeah. I was tempted by Gundogan this week, but I feel like he's kind of dropping into the same camp as Haaland, where that City team, you can just see him getting rotated whenever now. Now we're entering into that period of Pep roulette, right? Where there's 3 games a week. It's just a guessing game, and I think for me, Gundogan's just too risky to go for yet. Until we know that he's going to be playing every game, which I don't think he will.
No, I don't either. I think with Bernardo Silva staying, though, it looks like he's staying.
Yeah.
And then you've got Calvin Phillips, who's probably going to come in to replace the likes of Gundogan, though, isn't he? Yeah, because he's not playing. No. He's not even come on. He's not even got any minutes or anything. So there is things. I think the safest bet is Cancelo in defence. If I'm completely honest, I think he's like the safest bet to pretty much play. And Ederson.
Yeah, agreed.
Most games, so he's not, like I said, he's not going in unless City just somehow become a horrible team. But for now, I'm fairly happy, and I know Trippier's going to have Liverpool next week. But again, with these 2 transfers, I might be able to sort that out and be able to bench him.
Yeah.
Or if Liverpool play poorly again, I might even play him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm leaving myself open to options. And like last week, I had so many things that I want to do, and this week I'm just like fairly comfortable saying I'm pretty much going to show
your team looks good. I think you don't really need to do anything, do you? I think rolling a transfer, especially going into the midweek fixtures, once we know more.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's me done, I think, for the week.
Nice.
Right, on to my captaincy for the week. So it's between 2 players. I'm not even considering one, actually, to be honest. It's between Salah and Jesus. And at the minute, it's on Salah for all the reasons I've said before. They've got Bournemouth, who, you know, like I said, they're a poor defensive team. So I think if Liverpool's going to bounce back, this would be a great game to do it. And I think if people go off Liverpool players for captaincy because of their previous performances, I think this could be a really, good shout, if that makes sense. I think Jesus, though, he'll be my vice captain for sure. I think again though, I'm kind of scared because if people do captain him, and he does do well, it's going to hurt you more than it is Salah, which is actually bizarre to think that, because he's more owned by 20% of players or something. So if people captain him, and then more than Salah, and he does well, it's going to hurt. But I still think Salah's the better captaincy choice, because I just think Bournemouth are weaker at the back than Fulham are. I didn't even consider Haaland, to be honest, and the reason why is because I do think Palace are a really good team, and I do think they could potentially upset City, a bit like what Newcastle did. But I also think it won't be like a hammering if they do score. I think it could be quite close. Whereas Bournemouth, Salah and Bournemouth and Jesus and Fulham, it could be a goal fest. I'm not sure which way, but it definitely could be a goal fest. So I'm happy to go with Salah, and then vice captain is Jesus, but there's no one else I even considered really. I mean, if I wanted to make severe rank changes, I might consider like captaining like a Robertson or Trent, to be like a bit different.
But they're not bad shouts this week against Bournemouth. I was considering it as well, but Salah's a safe bet, right?
Yeah, and you don't need to do that this early on in the season, really. Like, I don't think I need to do that. Yeah. It might be a case that if this were like game week 30 or something, there's a high chance that I probably would do it, because I still think it'd be a clean sheet, back even in game week 30 that it is now.
Yeah.
But for now, it's on Salah, probably not going to change, and I'm fairly happy with that, to be honest.
So on with my team for game week 4. Same as you, I've got Ramsdale in net, Fulham at home. I like it. I like the fixture. I think it's a good chance for a clean sheet. Not as confident as I am that I was last week when they were playing Bournemouth. I thought Bournemouth's more of a guaranteed clean sheet, whereas Fulham are playing well. And Mitrovic especially, I could see him getting a goal here, but for me, Ramsdale's a keep until my wild card. And I know there's good value keepers emerging, like Henderson and Sanchez. Like as you said, Brighton defence looks great at the moment. But for me, Ramsdale's a hold until I decide to wild card. I think he's going nowhere. Great fixtures to come still as well. Then Cucurella, my regret. I think double Chelsea defence is a worry. But Leicester at home is not a bad fixture. In fact, it's a good attacking fixture for the fullbacks. But the problem is, I suppose, that Cucurella is probably going to be playing left centre-back now that Koulibaly's got suspended for this game. So, I mean, Chilwell's playing left-back. But still, for 5 million, for a nailed-on, well, not nailed-on, but it's looking nailed-on at the moment, Chelsea defender for 5 million, I think it's still good value. It just depends if they can get their act together. And they need to do it quick. So I'm keeping hope with Cucurella for at least one more game, but and then we'll assess next week. But yeah, I should have burnt the transfer really last week. But it feels wrong, doesn't it, to do that?
Feels wrong.
It does feel wrong. So, but it's something to learn. Maybe next time when I'm in that position, I'll know that it's okay to burn a transfer, because I'd rather have Trippier right now than Cucurella, but we live and we learn, right? So on to Reece James next. Leicester could score, I think, in this game. That's my worry. But they've not been playing great, and they'll definitely let some goals in. But I don't know if they'll. I don't know. You can see Chelsea getting a clean sheet here, which would be great for me. Double Leicester defence, and I think Reece James is still a hold for me. I just hope he plays at right back, which I think he will this game. Because why wouldn't you? That's his best position. It seems a bit silly just playing at right centre back every week.
It depends if you can play Chilwell at left wing back.
I think he will, right?
Is Chilwell fully fit? If Chilwell's fully fit, then you'll be fine, I think. But there's
Chilwell,
still a chance.
Chilwell came on last game, didn't he? So he's in the squad. I think he will be starting him, but maybe not. Maybe he'll start him this week, rest him next week, and because he's not up to that kind of fitness yet of game after game. But I think he'd be all right to start this one.
Yeah.
Then I've got Kyle Walker next against Crystal Palace. Palace drew against City last season and beat them last season. So it's a bit of a bogey team for City. So it's a weird one, that, isn't it? Palace have been playing great as well, so I can definitely see him scoring here, which is a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
But like you said, but I've only got the one City defender, so I'm not doubled up. So I'm quite happy about that for this week, not doubling up. A lot of people have gone Edison and, Cancelo and stuff. So just the one's all right for me this week. And City are going to want to bounce back, so they might get a clean sheet. And Walker,
there's always potential there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the best defence in the league, right? So you're never going to bet against him. But Walker didn't play very well last week against the draw against Newcastle. But I don't think he's like gonna be dropped just yet. I think his place is still his to lose. I think he'll start this game, is what I'm saying.
I think he has to, because Ake went off injured, and if Laporte's still injured, they haven't really got anyone.
I think Stones might be ready now.
But Stones would probably play centre back, right?
Yeah. Stones and Diaz.
They'd probably still keep Walker.
Yeah, but they brought in that new signing, didn't they? I can't remember what he's called, but he plays in Walker's position. But I don't think they'll put him in. I think Walker will still.
Yeah,
play.
Sergio something.
Yeah. Sergio
Gomez?
Yeah, I was going to say Gomez, yeah.
Gomez, yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't think they'll drop him straight in though anyway. I think maybe he might replace him like for 20 minutes towards the end or something, maybe to get his feet,
Yeah, potentially.
But I don't know. Yeah. Or in a cup game or something.
Yeah. And then on to Trent, who's not going anywhere for me. I know a lot of people are talking about transferring him out, but nah, he's a season keeper, really, isn't he? He's still, though he hasn't performed in his first 3 games, but he's top XGI for all defenders over those first 3 still. So, he's gonna get something at some point. And like you said, Bournemouth at home is just like an ideal fixture for him now. Bournemouth are terrible attacking wise. I think it's a great week to have double Liverpool defence, because I think they are going to keep a clean sheet. And you can see Trent being involved. He hasn't been great defensively, but he's still putting those balls into the box. He's still making those crosses, and that's why he's top of the XGI. So I'm holding out hope for him. He's not going anywhere for me. And then onto midfield. Same with Salah. He's not going anywhere, of course. Liverpool have been performing poorly, but he's still getting goals, Salah. That's the thing. He always has the ability to just get a goal out of nowhere, which he did last week. Even though it wasn't a classic Salah goal, it was just a header. But he was still there. He was still ready to go. And Bournemouth, again, very good fixture to bounce back. At home, at Anfield, can definitely see Salah bagging here. And, it's understandable why he's probably going to be the most captain player this week, even though they just lost to Man U and performed poorly. That's how good he is. Most people are going to be captaining him still. So, not a worry for me. And then Luis Diaz is a hold for me for the time being, because Bournemouth's a great fixture, obviously, and he's looking nailed at the moment. It's a little concerning about his positioning, because at the moment he's just running down that left wing, and he's either passing back or just sprinting, and then passing back. He's rarely cutting inside into the box and making those shots, which is what Mane did so well. The ability to cut inside. He's not doing that very much at the moment, so that's a little concerning, because it means he's not going to be shooting as much. So that's something to keep an eye on. But for now, I've got other fires to put out at the moment, so he's a hold for me at this stage. And then moving on to Martinelli, probably the best value player in the game right now, I'd say. He's got 3 returns out of 3. And he's got great fixtures still to come, including Fulham at home, this one. And until he starts dropping off and playing badly, he's staying in my team. And that's that. And then, but Mount, on the other hand, has had 3 out of 3 blanks, which I think is enough for me to maybe think about getting rid of him. But it's annoying because he's playing Leicester at home, and Leicester are like one of the worst defences in the league, if not the worst. They're like bottom of the ticker. So it'd be annoying to sell him for this game, because you can imagine him, this is where he actually does bag. But it's like, how long do you keep saying that? Because I was saying that about Leeds last week. I was like, I'll hold him for Leeds because that's a great fixture for him, and then look what happens. So he might be on the chopping block for me, Mount. But we'll talk about that when we get to my transfers. And then onto my forward line, Jesus, also an unbelievable value pick from the Arsenal side. He was underpriced, wasn't he? They dominated against Bournemouth. Like, they had no chance at Bournemouth. And Jesus looked so good. His involvement for that first goal was so good. He looks class, and he looks like he's enjoying himself, and he's got like a point to prove, hasn't he? So very happy to keep him. Yeah, you're right. That whole Arsenal side just looks scary at the moment. It's a bit worrying, but good for FPL. Just a bit worrying for the league, And then my second striker is Harry Kane. What a boy! He's a great option going forward now. I think, like you were saying, with the potential of Haaland getting rotated over these next few fixtures, Kane's he's a nailed-on 90-minute guy, isn't he, in the league? He's a great option, and the fixtures ahead. The fixtures ahead look great. The only concern is that Wolves game. I thought the whole Spurs team looked very slow and sluggish, especially in the first half. But Forest are a much poorer defence than Wolves, so I can definitely see Kane being involved in like a couple of goals here. I think they could get a decent result. Good Spurs against Forest. And then on my bench, got Ward, Nico Williams, Andreas, and Plange. And if you look at those fixtures, God almighty, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, and City, yeah, poor fixtures. So I'm hoping I'm not needing anyone off my bench this week, but we will see. So yeah, I'm quite happy with my team, fairly set. Great fixtures this week. Kane's the only player in my starting 11 who's playing away, which is promising. And I've got 2 free transfers to use. So let's talk about them, shall we? Let's talk about my transfer plans going into Game Week 4. So onto my transfers this week. My main problem, I think, is Mason Mount. So I think he's got to go, even though I was saying Leicester at home's such a good fixture for him. I am a bit scared about taking him out because I think he might bag. But I can't keep hold of him forever, right? No, you've got to draw a line at some point, and I think this is it. So I think for me, I want Perisic this week.
Right.
I really do. I think Forest at home is such a good fixture. Obviously, if Conte says something in the press conference that puts me off, then maybe I'll think twice about it. But at this moment in time, I'm thinking about downgrading Mount to one of Harrison or Rodrigo from the Leeds side, like you were doing last week, and then upgrading Nico Williams in my defence to Perisic.
Ooh.
And playing 5 at the back. Which means if I did that, I'd be benching Rodrigo or Harrison, whoever I brought in this week, because I think Brighton is such a tough fixture for him now. Even if Leeds side are playing that attacking, I think I'd rather play Cucurella over Rodrigo this week. I think Rodrigo's the one I'm edging towards. At the start of the week, it was Harrison, and now I'm kind of leaning more into the Rodrigo category. Do you think Rodrigo's still the better pick over Harrison, or would you change it now? Now that you've gone there,
I was listening to the Scoutcast earlier on Fantasy Football Scout, and Seb on there is a big Leeds fan, and he was saying some stuff that he thinks might happen. And if Bamford's supposedly going to be back, maybe this weekend, could be in a week or two, right? And he thinks that when he comes back, he thinks out of that front 4 at the minute, the way Marsh wants to play is that press. He's not bothered about on the ball abilities. He's all about that press, right? And he just said, out of everyone who'd drop, he says he thinks it'd be Rodrigo who'd drop and Bamford would straight back in. So that scares me a little bit because he knows his stuff, and Harrison did look fantastic at the weekend. So I think potentially, I mean, the thing is, if you're going to do it this week, it's a bit harder. But if I know the reason why you're doing it as well is for the money, right? You need the money to upgrade Williams to Perisic. That's the reason why you're gonna go down. But I'd be trying to think if he does come back in a week or two, I'd probably be leaning towards Harrison for that reason. I think Rodrigo's got a chance of scoring more, but I think for consistency as the starts, I think Harrison's probably the better pick. But having said that, I don't regret Rodrigo. It just might be a thing that you can change it in wildcard in a couple of weeks. So you could still go Rodrigo for the goal, and then in a couple of weeks worry about that issue. You know, when everyone probably is in the same boat because everyone's got him in. Everyone's starting to get him in. But I'm just thinking, like, are you not even concerned about Perisic? Because Perisic, is he going to start again? I mean, he should do, but I thought that maybe for the second game as well. To be honest, are you not concerned that he might not start?
Well, this is the thing. I'm waiting for Conte's press conference, and if there's any signs of him not starting there, then I'd think twice about it. But he just looks so good, Perisic. He's had 2 assists already, and he's played 110 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Like, he's just so involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
So involved in Spurs attack. And yeah, I kind of agree with you about the Leeds lineup, but like, Rodrigo's like undroppable at the moment. I think the way he's scoring, he's bagged four goals in 3 games. Jesse March can't drop him.
I do agree with that. It's more just it's more like that if he has a bad game or he doesn't return and then Bamford's back, he's like probably the first one to probably get shifted, which is what Seb was basically saying.
It's the same with I'll have to wait for Jesse March's press conference as well, because if he does say that Bamford is looking like he's going to be back this week, then I'd probably go for Harrison, just because he's just safer. Harrison's not going to move positions. No. Rodrigo might move positions to implement Bamford back in.
No, I agree.
So he might not be as attacking when Bamford comes back, but Harrison's kind of nailed there. And Harrison seems like the better long-term pick, which, it doesn't matter too much at the moment because the wild card's not too far away. But
so it depends, doesn't it? It kind of depends on what you want to do.
It does. It depends. It all depends on the press conferences, really. And if we don't hear anything, then my moves will likely be Mount to Rodrigo and Nico Williams to Perisic, and play 5 at the back and bench Rodrigo this week.
And
just because I think
Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton. Brighton's such good defence in it, so that worries me a bit. Which I'd bench.
It's weird that you said at the start of this video, like, is big at the back dead, and you're kind of upgrading yours to go even bigger.
I know.
So you're saying that, and it's actually it's technically, if people are hopping off it, it's actually an opportunity to potentially gain rank if they do well. Just because Liverpool conceded, City conceded, and Chelsea, everyone's like, and it was all in the same week, which is pretty much why probably everyone had a poor week. Everyone's like, that's it, they're all rubbish. I'm like, well, not really. Liverpool have been rubbish, to be fair to them. City haven't. Chelsea, they looked bang on it the week before, but this week they just looked just like defeated. So I think it's just take it week by week. But all in teams have the potential to be to take clean sheets, as well as Tottenham, especially like you said against Forest. I don't even think that we know how they're going to line up with all the signings they've made. They've got so many different players who they could play. So, it seems like a pretty much a certainty for a clean sheet. Whether Perisic will start again or not, I'm like I said, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
You'd think he would, but for 5.5, like you said, he even came on and got an assist anyway in the second game week, didn't he? So he can still do something from the bench. But no, it sounds like good moves, and I think you're right. Mount. It just doesn't build you with confidence, right? So, and you've got 2 transfers. You don't want to be burning one this week, I don't think. So I think that makes sense. Makes sense to me. Yeah,
and like I've gone big at the back this week, but because I'm bringing Rodrigo in next week, I'll be playing him, so it'll be 4 at the back again. So it's not. I've got more squad depth now if I make this transfer, which means I can sub in. Like next week, I'll probably sub out Cucurella and put in Rodrigo or Harrison, whoever I pick. So I feel like I've got a bit of flexibility there. And then, I could think about moving Cucurella on next week or the week after at some point. But that's for the future. But yeah, they're my plans at the moment.
Yeah, makes sense.
So captaincy this week. Obviously, I'm going for the safe pick, Salah, Bournemouth. Oh wait, no, I'm not. I'm going Kane. Oh, can you believe it? I think I'm gonna go Harry Kane.
Is that? You've always said to me in the past, if you're in doubt, I go Salah. So are you not in doubt at all then?
I really like Kane's fixture here. I think Forest. We're on about the worst defences in the league. Forest is right down there. And if you look at some stats, Bournemouth are about middle of the pack defensive wise, whereas Forest are like right at the bottom. And I think there's going to be goals in that game. I think there's going to be goals in the Liverpool game as well. But you can see Bournemouth just doing a low block, and Liverpool might struggle to get through because they've been struggling to, create decent chances in the past few games. So I think they'll win, but I don't know if it's going to be like a high scoring game like City or Arsenal did against Bournemouth, 4-5-0. Whereas I can kind of see that from the Spurs game. I think Forest is an ideal fixture for him, and Harry Kane, it's a massive differential. not many people own him and not many people are going to captain him. And I know you don't have to go differential for the sake of it at this point. The best bet is to play safe. And I might end up, being scared at the last minute and changing my mind. But I just, from the start of the week, I just put my captaincy on Kane, and ever since then I've just been like, oh yeah, I think I like it. I think he's going to do well. And so like my guts kind of telling me to go with Harry Kane. And so I feel like I should. I feel like I should. Because if he bags and Salah blanks and I captain Salah, I'll be regretting it. So yeah, I think I'm going to go Kane. Ooh, it's risky though, isn't it?
Well, all I'm going to say is that Liverpool fan, I'm always going to captain Salah. You're doubting him. Are you changing your mind? Oh, is your poor Liverpool fan? Poor Liverpool. You get beaten by United, and that's it. Oh, it's all gone. It's all gone.
Well, it's a bit. Well, we are looking shaky. It's not like it is a bit concerning. I don't think we're going to lose to Bournemouth. I think it's going to be a great game for us, but I don't know, man. Kane's just calling out to me.
I like it. At this point in time, like you said, you don't have to worry about rank. But I think when it's like something where you're thinking, who's going to score in my team? It's probably Kane, probably Salah. And you've got one of them who's significantly less owned and less likely to be captained. You're not going to go too far wrong. Like, you're not going to get like a severe hit. If Salah does, the only way you will is if Salah absolutely bags.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But like you said, they've been struggling. And he's still adjusting to, his role in that team. And you don't know if, like, Firmino, if he's back and still not fully, I don't think he's fully fit really. So I think that's why Diaz played 90 minutes as well, because I think normally he would get hooked, wouldn't he, Diaz, for like Jota or Firmino or someone, and he's not, so he's playing. And I think that when you said about them looking a bit, he's on his wing and he's not like cutting in as much. I think it's because he might be a little bit tired, because he's working, he's doing a lot more than probably what he thought he'd had to do in that team, because the lack of players up top at the minute in terms of injury wise, and then Nunes getting a red card like a silly man.
Silly sausage.
Silly sausage.
What's he like?
But yeah, I like it. Is your vice captaincy at least on Salah?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think there's three good options in Salah, Jesus, and Kane for me. And,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but Kane's just is calling to me, and I usually wouldn't go against Salah. That's like not me at all, but. I don't know.
It's not your rule as well.
It's not my rule.
That's what I say. It's just.
Well, my rule is if I don't know who's captain, then I'm always going to go Salah. But
you had it on him.
But yeah, I've had it from Kane from the end of the week, from the start of the week, and so I think I'm going to stick to my guns and just hope for the best. Hope I don't look like a fool.
Well. I mean, I hope you do for the sake of it.
Fair
I think it's a great shout.
Cheers.
Let's just see if you have you follow through with it though. That's the It's a bit of a difference.
That's true. All this talk and then the deadline comes around and I'm a little scared boy. But
then you panic.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So that's our team selection video for game week 4. Safe to say seems to be a few risks going on with you captaining Harry Kane.
I'm excited. About it.
It's very exciting, and I think Spurs are on last of all the games as well. So if Salah does blank,
last game of the week,
that's quite exciting.
If he does blank, but if he gets a brace, then I'm going to be conflicted because obviously I'll be celebrating it, but. Deep down, I'd be like, oh no.
You'll be a semi-broken man. Well, if you can almost say though, like at least I reckon Kane could still score even if Salah does get a brace. Do you know what I mean? So you're not. Yeah. It's not. It might not be too bad, but it just depends. I also would be a little bit worried as well with Richarlison. Richarlison was brought in to save minutes from Kane, but at the minute Son's going off. I think when Champions League, because they got
Spurs got Champions League.
then there might be a case that they might start resting Harry Kane a little bit, whether that's in the Champions League or not. So I think it's exciting for you. I can't do it, but I'm happy with.
You wouldn't go
with
there.
Salah. I think if I had him in my team, I still wouldn't go. I'd still go Salah.
Yeah,
but I think it's more exciting because playing FPL that way when you're not doing what everyone else is doing is always a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, totally.
But it can also massively backfire. So
it can.
Hats off to you if you go through with it. We'll see. Keep an eye on Instagram and Twitter if Joel went through with it.
Yeah. Final lineups will be posted there, so you can see if I'm a wuss or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll be back next week. There is midweek fixtures next week, so we'll probably have a video out earlier on, and then we'll be back to normal, kind of the week after.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep an eye on us for us on socials and stuff, and we'll keep you posted with all the usual content that we have to offer.
All the good stuff. Right. Sounds good.
Right. Good luck, Joel. Good luck with your captaincy pick, mate.
Cheers, man. Talk to you next week.
See you later.